Okay, let's go ahead and get into the stock market technical analysis. We'll look at some broad markets. I want to look at some various sectors, individual trade ideas, and then we'll wrap up. If you guys are finding value, please drop me a thumbs up. I do appreciate it. It does help the channel. It's just one little click. Thank you if you do that. And as I go along, if you're interested in getting additional trade ideas, I'm in there in the private member group all the time posting charts and really trade ideas I'm not covering here on my public videos. So if you're interested in those, feel free to join up. Link in the description below. Okay, triple Qs obviously selling down today. If I have to go down to the hourly really to find the nearest support level. So if you drop down to the hourly, you can see there's some support right there at about 440.86. That's where we gapped. You know, we've had a reaction there, getting another reaction there. So, and then there's one right there. So that's kind of the nearest support. You break that, you should head down to about 434-ish, somewhere right in there. There's a big gap there. So that's kind of what I'm seeing right now. That's the short term. Let me jump over to the various sectors. XLK, this is also technology. Again, still holding the bullish trend. So there's support all through here. And you can see we're still in that trend. We're in a bearish rising wedge, so we should break. But it's probably not going to break today. I suspect they're going to park it right on that support level. So that's really it. Until that breaks, there's no sell signal. XLF, we'll look at the financials. Again, still holding that trend. It's just been grinding along that trend line with negative divergence. It's just a matter of time. I think this thing's on borrowed time. It's just a matter of when it actually breaks. Bearish rising wedge. You're probably going to get some sort of a gap down. It's likely going to gap down and take out all those recent bullish candles. But we don't have the breakdown yet. So that's it on that one. XLV, same thing. Holding bullish trend. So there's no change there. XLI. Industrials kind of at resistance right here, so probably going to get a pullback there, but still holding the longer term kind of that trend off the October lows of 2023. So no change there. We are seeing some profit taking obviously on NVDA. So, you know, there's no real technical change, but there's things to watch. So the thing is we have this almost a parabolic run that it's been marching up on the daily chart here. As of right now, we have a bearish engulfing candle, which is this candle right here. That's basically where you've engulfed the previous candle. And so that's as of right now. Now, the day's not over. We need to see where this closes. If the buyers step in and they close it kind of at the lows from the former day, which is right about here, and this is probably what the buyers will try to do, but then it will be it won't be any kind of like bearish candle. As of right now, it's a bearish candle. What you want to look for is confirmation, more selling. So if we see some more selling, then we can trade this as a topping stick, which means you just would basically want to cover your shorts if you're going to short it, if it can close above the former high right there on a daily close. All right. So that's a bearish engulfing as of right now. We'll see how that closes out the day. We're seeing a little bit of rotation. So the three mega cap stocks that have been going up is kind of Amazon, Meta, and NVIDIA. And we're seeing some rotation today into the ones that have been going down, which is Apple, Google, you know, for the most part. So here's Apple, you know, kind of they're basically just switching between the Mag 7s. They're selling NVIDIA and buying Apple because it's down. So you might see some just kind of, you know, the XLK and the technology sector is not going to go anywhere if there's just rotation from one to the next. You really want to, you know, there needs to be selling in all of them in order to break those trendline supports. So the buyers are stepping on Apple today. I think it can probably rally to this downtrend line right here. You can see on the daily chart, we've got several reactions. So I think we can rally up there, and so far it looks like that's where it's headed. So we'll, you know, LLY, Eli Lilly, it's been a, you know, kind of a mania stock. But here's the bearish engulfing right here. This is where we got this, you know, that's a reversal candlestick, and you got follow through the next day with more selling and a daily close below. And so you just don't want to see a daily close above the top of that candle. And we really haven't. All right, they popped it above there intraday, but still closed above the top of that candle, and we're seeing more selling. So yeah, this is still looking okay for a short. I think we can easily come down. First target, it's a little hard to say because we have these kind of uptrend lines. There's this uptrend line right here. I think that could be kind of the first target. But yeah, if this is going to reverse, I think there's a lot of downside on this one. So there's a big gap to fill right here, way down here at about 450. And that would probably be a longer term target that I think could be hit if we put in a top on this. Costco, all right, reported earnings, and we have a sell signal. So this is what I was this is what I talk about. You've got negative divergence. The RSI kind of burned through the divergence just barely, but clearly didn't on the PPO. Just, so close enough. We're going to call that negative divergence. You have a bearish rising wedge. They ran it to the top side of the wedge right before earnings. And I talk about that where sometimes the market makers essentially will like to run it up because this is a bearish pattern. So most people are anticipating a breakdown because these patterns on average resolve to the downside. So what they do is they run it up, and people that are looking to short or have already shorted in anticipation of the breakdown see the run up and they say, oh, it's going to go parabolic. It's not breaking down. And then they run it up, but it's right before earnings and it's a negative divergent run up. And then earnings comes out and boom, there's your smackdown, down 7%. So this thing gapped down right to support, which isn't, you're still there at support, chopped around for a little bit and then broke, and that's your sell signal. So I am short this one, continuing to write it down. I think there's some more downside here because we just have the initial sell signal. I think we're heading down to this 480 or 681.88, and then longer term, if I roll out on Costco, I have to kind of go way back. There's this is kind of your bull market. I almost have to go to the weekly just to show you guys. This is like a bull market since 2009 in Costco. You've got lots of reactions here to validate that. So I think that actually could be the long-term target. All right. I think we probably have just broken and we're going to start to work our way lower and come down to this trend line. Might take, I don't know how long, a year or so maybe, but to me it looks like a pretty decent short. You can see on the weekly chart, big bearish engulfing weekly candle. I doubt that's going to be recovered. So that's a reversal on the weekly chart, which indicates that there's a new trend in Costco, which is probably to the downside. Could drop about 30% or so, down to that major support line. So that's a trade idea. Another one, DVN, talked about this one. It was first pointed out in the private member group. We have a breakout that's in place. Here's resistance on the daily, bullish divergence, and there's your breakout right there. And it's running, so should go up to the 200. This one looks fine. I would be looking to buy the dips here. If I flip over to the weekly chart, you can see that basically you've got a bullish weekly candle as well. So that's a breakout on the weekly. So again, widest part of the wedge, you take this, and it's basically here. And that puts this thing up in this area, all right, up around, anywhere from, 63 up to 65, somewhere right in there. That's the target, the measured target for this move. So bullish on this one, and it's continuing to work. ELF, this one continues to look good. Pointed this out in the private member group, but look, bearish engulfing candle with follow through. So again, you'd want to stop out on a daily close above 220.19. Now, when I say daily close, because they like to run it up, and market makers will pop it up over that level intraday just to sell it off and close it back below. So that's the stop. And then, this should continue to resolve to the downside. We got some support, it looks like, on this trend line. So I think, first stop, hit the trend line, probably get a bounce. Ultimately, I believe we'll break that trend line. That would be your next sell signal or add-on point. Negative divergence on the momentum. So I think it's probably going to go like this, bounce, ultimately break, add to a short. You could cover on the, if it hits this trend line, you could cover your short and then reshort it on a break. That's one way to play it. But yeah, that one looks good. And I'll round it out right here. This is the S&P 500 heat map, and you can see most of the selling today is in the semis. That's basically where the mania's been at. So we're seeing some profit taking. Is this the start of something bigger? I mean, I think if the semis really, if they really fall out of bed and start to drop, then the market should take note of it, and it'll probably start to drop, because that's where the strength has mostly been in, and especially the mania. So that might put an end to it. But this is just one day. It's hard to say if this is just a one-day profit taking or if they're going to break. Again, going back to the chart of NVDA, you can see that, there's a bearish engulfing, but you still have an uptrend that's intact. So, and the bearish engulfing's not even finalized, because we got to see how the day closes. So it's too early to tell. So we'll wrap it up here. Thanks, guys. Catch you on the next one.